Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the first ever Detox Journeys Interview, episode 1. I'm so excited to have Kori Fruitarian here. Sorry for the technical difficulties when we were trying to go live on Facebook, but you got a recorded one. So I'm very happy to have you here, and I'm so honored and humbled. Yeah, so honored and humbled to have you here. So, Kori, you are a wayshower and definitely an inspiration. I love your YouTube channel. Seriously, I watch it, and I always end up craving banana and ice cream.
Yeah. It's hard not to because I eat that pretty much every day.
I know. You know, it's so awesome, though, to be able to have, like, ice cream for breakfast. What kind of life is this?
I know. How is everyone not on board?
I don't know.
Just for the ice cream. I was sold at ice cream.
I know, right? Seriously. It's so funny. So after this interview ends, I will provide links to where you can find her. And I'll also upload this recorded video to my YouTube channel. Which is called Shattering Norms, where you'll be able to find future Detox Journey interviews, as well as information on how to begin your own journey. So let's get right into it, Kori.
All right.
Yeah. So let's talk about how you got started on this health journey.
Okay. Well, first off, Brooke, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and share my journey with you and everyone else. And so how I first got started on this journey, I would say that just growing up, I always felt as though I had health problems, just as a kid, I always had stomach aches. I just never really felt that good. I remember always being tired as a kid. And I also struggled with like anxiety and different kind of things like that. And so, so first off, I just kind of never felt good. And then when I turned 21, I'm 29 now, my symptoms started to get way worse. And I started to have severe vertigo daily. I had my chronic fatigue got even worse. My brain fog got even worse. And I started to get acne breakouts suddenly in my 20s, never had it before.
Oh.
And it took about 8 years to figure out what was going on. Come to find out, or it took about 6 or 7 years to find out what was going on. I found out that I had celiac disease when I was 27, 28 years old. And I think 27 because it's been 2 years now. So when I became gluten-free, because I had found out I had celiac, it resolved about 70% of my problems. So it wasn't 100% still. So I thought from that point 2 years ago that it was going to be problem solved, eliminate gluten. And I also noticed that eating corn gave me the exact same symptoms as gluten. So I thought, okay, I got all of it out of my body. I gave it a couple of months and felt much better, but I still noticed that some of the symptoms were there. The vertigo was still coming back at least twice a week. I was still having extreme fatigue after every meal. And so at this point, I was vegan, gluten-free. I was eating pretty healthy, or so I thought. I was eating vegetables, brown rice, everything that we hear that's healthy. Like I wasn't eating anything processed very often, any white flour products, anything like that. Or obviously because I was gluten-free,
Yeah.
but so it just was odd to me that I still didn't feel better. But at this point, I knew that there was a connection, that it had to do with our food.
Yeah.
Because if I could suddenly feel 70% better from eliminating 2 things from my diet, then it showed me that this is all food related.
I totally resonate with that because, I mean, my journey was almost the same way, where my little sister was diagnosed with having celiacs, and it's supposed to be like genetic. So I thought maybe that's my problems, because all my health problems related to the celiacs disease symptoms. So I cut gluten out, and most of my health problems were relieved, but not all of them. And I made the connection between food and stuff, which started me on finding answers, you know?
How interesting.
It's so funny.
How interesting, how similar. Yeah.
I know. It's so funny.
Yeah. So that's how my journey started.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. And so 70% of your problems were so what was left when you started detoxification that you were trying to eliminate?
Okay. So I would say there was like three main things that I was still struggling with. The first was chronic fatigue still so physically, but also mentally, just mentally very foggy.
Yeah.
So that was still lingering, and it wasn't as severe as before. But it was definitely still there and interfering with work and studying at school. And then the vertigo was still there, and that came now. I used to get it 2 episodes a day, I would say, but now after going gluten-free, it was, I would say, 2 to 4 times a week. So not every day, but it came often.
Yeah.
And then the third thing was acne breakouts. And so I think also what really led me to this journey was like specifically into fruitarianism, is that so now I had started noticing the food and the food related connection to how we feel. And so then I started realizing, okay, with my acne breakouts, I started to realize I think this is food related, because in the medical world, we're kind of taught that it's like mostly bacteria related.
Yeah.
And the doctor kept putting me on several rounds of antibiotics, and it wasn't going away. And I'm a very clean person. I'm very hygienic. And so it didn't make sense to me. How can I be a hygienic person, but I'm being careful to not overdo it with hygiene? Because,
You can scrub your face like crazy, and I've struggled with acne my whole life, so I get it, because you're like, you clean your face because you're like, it's bacteria, you go on the antibiotics and it still doesn't help it, and it's not bacteria. It's an inner problem.
Yes. And so I really started looking into it. What else could be affecting my acne? And I started looking into that a little bit before gluten-free, because I did notice that after taking out gluten, it improved significantly, but it still kept lingering, it still kept breaking out. And so then finally I came across 2 different YouTubers. I don't remember who the first one was, but the second one, Ted Carr, and he talks about this a lot. And he said that Fruitarian completely cured his breakouts. And I was sold. From there, finding out about Fruitarian, I just became obsessed and learned about everything that I could. And that's when I came across another YouTuber who kept mentioning Dr. Morse. And then that's when I started looking. I know, right? Who's that angel?
I know. Sent from above, I swear.
Seriously. And so that's when I learned, when I found Dr. Morse, just that this is the way we are meant to eat. Anyways, this is the way we are supposed to live off of, and how we are able to thrive and heal. And so that
was your journey.
That's my journey.
You're getting rid of, aim to get rid of. That's awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
So before I ask the next question about healing crisis, let me define it for everyone, for those who may not be familiar with the term. During detoxification, when you put all this beautiful raw food into your body, this high fruit, raw veggies, your body is going to be like, oh my goodness, I know what to do with this. It's going to start pushing out the toxins. It's going to be, it's going to naturally know how to heal yourself. And we experience these toxins leaving our body, and depending on where the stagnant lymph is in our body is where we're going to feel the weaknesses. So for instance, I've been having healing crisis acne breakouts as I'm getting out this, along with many others, but just an example. So what was some healing crisis that you've experienced during your detoxification?
Okay. So the first month of becoming fruitarian, which it was in September 2017. So it's been 6.5 months now that I've been fruitarian. Um, I would say during that first month, most of my symptoms were physical. So my vertigo got a little bit worse, nothing too drastic. My brain fog, it was relatively the same, but my fatigue got much worse, and I think that's just because my body was, processing all of these toxins out. It was just such a heavy concentration of these toxins in my bloodstream that was making me feel uncomfortable, irritable, lethargic, just no energy at all. And also I would have lots of headaches. And that's something I've also always have struggled with was headaches. So those got a little bit worse. And those cleared out pretty fast, meaning it was only a month. I don't think that's that bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, but what suddenly at month 2, my depression got much worse. And so that is something I've always struggled with was depression. And through this journey, I'm realizing how food related that has been because suddenly all these toxins are coming out. And how I picture it is that all these toxins are coming out of our bloodstream, out of our cells. I kind of picture all of our negative and toxic emotions
Yeah.
being attached to this as well. And so my depression for 3 months got much worse. So that was during month 2, 3, and 4. So
Yeah.
through January.
Yeah.
And it wasn't every day that I would feel it, but it was most days. I would have one good day where I felt normal, very grounded, and then one day of severe depression where I didn't want to get out of bed. But this was also, I was still feeling pretty lethargic too during these months. So I guess that was still a physical symptom that I was having, but it would be about 1 to 2 good days and then one really bad day. And it would repeat in that pattern
Yeah.
for
That's a
those,
lot.
those few months. It
And
was
it's
a
hard.
lot.
Yeah.
And I'm laughing now just because I feel like, or I'm smiling now just because I feel I'm in such a different place now. That's why I'm able to say this so lightheartedly and cheerfully, I guess, is just because this
you
has
worked
passed.
through it. Yeah.
Yes, worked through it.
It's definitely a journey. And a lot of people get lost at that point because they get like, whoa, this fruit must be doing this to me. But really it's healing. It's on you're experiencing these things on your way out. Have you ever had this isn't a question we planned for, but have you ever had iridology reading?
Not professionally, but I've tried to look at it myself.
Yeah. You should check out your parathyroid usually has if there's a weakness there, depression. And
Okay.
then
I only noticed liver for me, but I'll double that's my clock.
Just oh yeah, it's okay. Look on the iris chart and see where the parathyroid is. It's
and see if I see.
I don't want to mention it off the top of my head. I might say where it's the wrong spot. See that spot?
I'll look at that spot though.
Yeah, and adrenals too, because adrenals are fatigue.
I'm pretty sure my adrenals are down because I've been having this.
Yeah, I think the vertigo and stuff might have something to do with it too. Adrenals too. When people are going through these healing crises, I know adrenals are the ones that really get to people because they just become so drained and so tired, and it's so hard to even live day to day. But have strength to push through that. Work with a detoxification specialist if you guys have to, and know what you're doing. Be educated before you start it, so you're not like experiencing these healing crises and being so worried, like, oh my goodness, I'm so tired, this isn't right. It's your adrenals. They gotta, I love Dr. Morse analogy where he says you have a house that you're going to renovate. which me and my husband have done several times before, by the way. Like, this house was horrible. This room was like, it had that wood paneling, orange shag carpet. What else? Like, it was horrible. We had to take all that out first and then put the good stuff in. It's the same way with the bodies. So I want you guys to have confidence with what you're doing, you know? No. So,
Great analogy. I love that.
Yeah. Did you ever have any healing crisis that you had to like call out of work or anything? Or are they pretty with the, affect your life too much? People always wonder that.
It really affected my life. So fortunately, my job is not 9 to 5. If it was 9 to 5, I would have definitely had to call out, I think.
Yeah.
So as a nurse, I work 3 days on, I work 3 days a week, and I have 4 days off a week. And it's not necessarily 3 shifts in a row. It's kind of scattered throughout the week, and it's just different every week. And I think because of that, I was able to continue going to work because I got a lot of rest in between my shifts. And I noticed another key thing was that I had a lot of solitude during this period of my life because I had just moved about an hour and a half away from family, and I didn't know anyone in the area. I moved over there for my job, and I think that is what helped me through it, is because I didn't have to try to how do I say it? Like, I didn't have to reserve or save up too much energy to be social. I was able to just like completely rest on my days off of work and completely focus on healing. And I think that is what really helped. So if it wasn't for my specific situation being set up that way, I think I would have ended up calling out of work because I was just so exhausted physically, and then just my emotions were just going all over the place.
Yeah, for sure. I've had a few days where the emotions are just a lot different when you're healing, but so what was I gonna say? And it's a good segue into the next topic as well, because when you heal, I truly believe there's the different levels of healing. There's this physical body we're healing, then there's emotional and spiritual too. So could you elaborate on any of your experiences during detox that were more than just physical? You've mentioned a lot about emotions and stuff, but anything spiritual, like a spiritual journey, I guess.
Okay. So I've always been a spiritual person, and before I became fruitarian, I always had thought I was very spiritual and just very connected. I already had started my, spiritual awakening and was on that path. And then ever since becoming fruitarian, it has just been magnified in the most beautiful way. I just get so happy thinking about it. I feel so deeply connected to every living thing, every human, yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
Every living thing, even just animal. Like, I always have felt connected to these things, but it's just so much more. So to animals and I want to tell you something also I just thought of with this, but and even like the tiniest of insects, like I don't want to harm them, like fruit flies. I just feel like we're eating this way, like there's just fruit flies. It just comes with the package,
I know.
And I just feel like we're friends hanging out now. Like, I'll just put some fruit to the side and they can eat that, and so that they're not landing on my fruit.
I love it.
And just like even plants, and I just feel so connected to everything. But what did I just want to add? I lost it. It'll come back.
Yeah.
It'll come back. but I just feel so connected, and it's just, oh, okay. Ever since starting to eat this way, I think it helps us to our energy to kind of vibrate at a different level. And kids have always been attracted to me, animals have always been attracted to me, but now I am like a magnet for, like I think just kids and animals, they're so innocent, they're so pure, and they can read our energy, they can feel it.
For
And so
sure.
just in public, kids will just come up to me all the time and just like stand next to me or sit next to me.
That's
And
so cute.
and it's and their parents are always like, "Hey, that I'm over here. That's not me." Kind of like their kid they it seems as though the parents are like, "Wait, did you think that was a family member?" Like it's the kids are just so trusting of me, and same with animals. And it's I don't know, I just really think this helps us have so much inner peace somehow, and it just radiates out
For
on
sure.
the energy we're putting out. So that is what I've noticed spiritually. And then now that I've gone through a lot of the emotional detox, I have never felt this grounded. I feel very emotionally stable, and that has been for the past 2.5 months that I've felt very emotionally stable, and which is something big for me to say. I was usually
Your cat. He's like, I know you're talking about me.
I know. Like I heard you. I feel it.
Yeah.
I was always someone very kind of driven by my emotions. I'm just a very feelings based person, and my
Empathetic.
emotion yeah, and my emotions would just kind of govern how my day would go, or govern my thoughts, and that has stabilized, as well as my anxiety. I didn't mention this yet, but I have had severe anxiety my entire life. Any kind of anxiety you can think of, I've had it, just generalized social. I've had like phobias. So that has really mellowed out. And because my spirituality has deepened, I think that has mellowed out my anxiety as well, because I'm able to see my anxiety in a different perspective now. I'm
Yeah.
I'm able to realize that my anxiety is more so based off other people's energies that I'm picking up, as opposed to, thoughts that I'm having. I'm not having those um, anxious thoughts anymore, or those worrisome thoughts. Just whenever I feel anxious now, I notice it is just related to environmental stressors that other people are kind of giving off, which is, I don't know if this is coming out
No, it's perfect because it
right,
really is
but
profound. It really is because,
yeah.
we're talking about, so that adrenal weakness is, anxiety and tiredness and all that. And, when you're healing that with the fruit, it's healing that on the physical level. So that's the physical level. Then you have the emotional level, and that is the spiritual level, where you're sensitive to or your awareness
Mhm.
is more
Yes.
open. Yeah. And you realize
Yes.
what is affecting you. And yes, I totally resonate with
Yes.
that. And now when things, when someone says something to me, I used to be very like have an emotional reaction to what they're saying, but
Mhm.
now my awareness is more of the observer. And
Yes.
yeah, and understanding what is them and what is you. So it's
Yes, that's so
very,
true.
yeah, it's
That's
very
exactly.
yeah. You
And it is profound. It's life
it is.
changing. Like being able to have that perspective, it has increased my confidence so much, because now I realize it's not just me. And those thoughts would bring me down. Anxiety brings you down, you question
Oh yeah.
everything. And so my confidence is just increased so much. And I just feel so empowered now. I feel good physically, I feel good mentally and emotionally. I just feel so empowered by that.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. I get the shivers.
It
Like,
is.
yeah, yeah, it is. It's so beautiful. I really resonate with it, and I know there's going to be people that are like, "Wow," because it's like what we seek as humans, you know, the inner, just pure happiness and self-contentment. And it's just, you know, this is the answer, guys.
It is the answer. It is the answer. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Let me see. That was perfect. That was beautiful. That was more, you know, than I could have expected for asking that question. So thank you. Let's see. So along with all those changes that you've experienced in yourself, you could say that just quickly, I think we've pretty much covered it, but this was a question that somebody asked on the Fans of Dr. Morse Facebook group. So I wanted to get it in here because I see people ask it a lot. And it's kind of like, to me, it's kind of like a little excuse. Sorry, guys. You'll get to a point when you look back and be like, oh yeah, that was. But was there any changes for you, like socially, that were drastic, relationship wise, with friends and family? You get a lot of people that are worried about that before they.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I would say it has affected me socially in a number of ways. So it's, first of all, going through detox, everyone becomes super worried because when we're going through detox, we don't look our best. I didn't look my best.
No.
Oh, I didn't mention this, but physically my breakouts got much worse at first because I also decided to stop birth control. And so everything was just showing its true colors. The birth control did help disguise my breakouts. So my breakouts got worse, and then suddenly I'm so tired all the time, and my brain fog is still bad, and then and then I lost a ton of weight, which and I wasn't going into this to lose weight, and so I think my weight was fine, and now suddenly I'm too skinny, and my family just got worried. They called this the starvation diet. Even though I was eating in abundance, like I was eating so much during this time, you know, like it's not as though I'm eating 5 fruits a day. I was eating like 20 pieces of fruit a day. But through this process, our body is just, like you were saying, Brooke, we completely break down the old. And that's what my body was doing. And my family got so worried and just tons of comments all the time. My family does eat the standard American diet. So they're not into health, and I've been telling them about the vegan diet for years because I've been vegan for 13 years and they have no interest. They're just all about taste of food. You know, they're not really on a health journey themselves. Yeah. And so my family just got really worried. And then it also made social interactions kind of strained in regards to holidays, because this was during the fall when we have tons of holidays. And so I would prepare a lot of fruit, you know, peel it. We don't have to prepare it that much, I guess.
Throw it in the bag.
And peel it. Yeah, throw it in the bag. So I would bring all this fruit so they could see I was eating a lot. But then it just feels awkward when family's offering you all this food and then you're trying to explain why you're not participating in eating all that food without going into too much detail because some people just don't even want to hear it. So I would say it was straining. But now it's been several months and my family, we don't see each other all the time. So now when I see them, at least a month or two has gone by and they keep saying how much better I look. So I'm curious how this will start to change. So
you have to keep us updated on your videos, you know, on that aspect, see how that changes. That's a good topic.
Okay. Yeah, I'll make sure to do that because I forget about that aspect, talking about it. But it's a huge component.
A lot of people wonder about it. I always see, do you see it a lot? I see a lot of comments where, you know, like on the fans group where people wonder about the social aspect of it, because it does change things a lot. but I think the benefits definitely outweigh the negative aspect of it. I know that people that are in the detox for an extended amount of time, like as a lifestyle, realize the benefits are much better than the weird social like awkwardness. And then your family too, I think gets over being offended.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you don't want my
right.
food? What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, like, what do you think I eat that? Or, you know, something like that.
I know they sometimes take it as a criticism to
Yeah.
themselves. Yeah. And get very defensive over how they eat
Yeah.
because it is making them question. We're saying, I'm doing this because it's healthy. So that's going to make someone question, is what I'm doing not healthy? So I think that's why people get so defensive.
Yeah.
You know, with their comments.
That's a good point. And I think it's important just to let's shout it out to our families right now. The things we do, they're not in spite or you know, in any like way to judge you. It's a personal journey to healing. And I know you and me both respect whatever anyone chooses to do with their bodies. Everyone's on their own personal journey. So don't take offense.
Yeah, very well said. Yeah. I would say you could, our families, you guys can even think of it as a selfish pursuit. I'm only thinking of myself in this, meaning I'm doing this because I want to feel better. It has nothing to do with anyone else. I've been struggling with all these symptoms that have been interfering with my life daily. And this is just how I feel better.
Yeah.
And yeah, no judgment. I don't care what you're eating. And, you know, I'd prefer if people didn't eat animals, to be honest. But, you know, we're all on our own journey. We all have our own priorities in this life. And there's the most amazing people, loving people who do eat animals. So we can't judge because everyone has their own
path
way, their own path.
Yeah. Their own I hate to say it, but like karma kind of thing.
Yeah. They do. Yeah. We all do. Yeah.
Yeah. It's our own individual journeys. And but yeah, where we, you know, respectful of other people are should be, you know, let you discover something about yourself on if you decide to detox. So, you know, if you are a viewer who is debating whether to start detox and worried about the social implications, just know, you know, it's a lifestyle change, but it's definitely worth it because you're on your path to wellness. You know, all your physical symptoms and ailments that drag you down are just gone. And I mean, how beautiful is that? It really is. It's beautiful.
It is.
So let's see. My next question: do you take any herbs or plan to? I always call it herb. I had an Uncle Herb, so I always have to take a minute. Herbs.
Herb sounds adorable, though.
I know. I'll probably.
Okay. I would keep saying that.
Yeah, I do a
lot. Okay, so I didn't start any herbs until October. So I was 5 weeks into my journey. And that's when I started Dr. Morse's herbs. And I did his 14-week protocol. And I probably finished it in about like 18 weeks. I'm just terrible at remembering to take that kind of stuff. And so I nonetheless completed the 14-week protocol. And I just finished that, I would say 3 weeks ago.
Nice. So you've been on the herbs for a while. Did you you notice it kick up the detox a bit? Help you do it? Yeah.
Yes. Well, it made it, that's when all the depression came.
Yeah.
So it really amplified my detox. When the first month of being fruitarian, emotionally, I felt perfect. I felt elated, almost like it was just this blissful state that I was in.
The fruit high.
Yes. So I was having those physical, it was the fruit high for sure.
Yeah.
So I was having those physical symptoms. Then but I was having the fruit high. And then I started the herbs and went through all that emotional detox. But even though I knew the herbs were kind of making me feel worse, I knew they were healing me and it was going to be worth it. So it made me feel better, kind of just knowing that eventually I was going to feel better, look better, function better. So it was worth
for the
it.
better. Yeah.
Yes, I knew it was, yeah. So especially having the support groups, the fans of Dr. Robert Morse group and just other groups, Facebook groups that I'm in, I think that really helped, just reading that other people were going through similar experiences, and then also hearing people talking about their success stories. Yeah. So it definitely amplified detox though.
Yeah. I know, right? When I first started taking herbs, like my lower back hurt and I was like, what is this? Like I never have back pain. And then I realized, oh my gosh, it's my kidneys. They're starting to function. Yay. For those of you that don't know, just, the key is getting your kidneys filtering, get that lymphatic waste moving and out those kidneys. Without your kidneys filtering, it's, you're going to have that problem's being backed up somewhere. So I always mention that.
I think at first too, my kidneys weren't filtering very well. And that's why my breakouts were getting worse probably because, stuff wasn't filtering out through my kidneys. It was trying to come out through my skin.
Yeah.
And so I
think your third kidney.
Yes, my third kidney, our skin. And so I think that's why I kept purchasing I wasn't really planning on doing the herbs for the full 14 weeks. I just kept purchasing them as I went along, and I kept noticing, oh, wow, I am doing a little bit better than I was 2 weeks ago. And that's why I kept going along with the protocol. And I think it was because my kidneys were finally starting to filter. And that's why slowly, month by month, I started breaking out less and less. So
for sure,
I think the herbs were just so helpful, more than I even can comprehend. Like my physical body probably knows how much, but
yeah. The herbs with my acne definitely helped, but there was a point where I don't know if you could say, I had like these two they were literally like lumps, like and I have thyroid problems, so I don't know if it was like lymph like coming out of the thyroid or something, but it was like a lump on my neck. You could see it if I turned, like it was gross.
Wow.
And and when I started taking the thyroid herbs, it came out, and my tonsils, I had a bunch of tonsil stones. It was the weirdest thing. It was like the lymph moved out.
Wow.
It was the craziest thing. Yeah.
That's so cool. I wish I had a cool story like that. Like people have on the Facebook groups have like these cool parasite stories and stuff like. I'm like, where?
I was scared about
cool.
them.
I was scared too. I was scared. But I kind of wanted something cool to happen.
I know. I wouldn't flush, and my husband was always like, "What are you doing?
What's going on in there?"
Checking for stuff. I don't want it to be in there, but I have to look. I took the Parasite G, so I was like, I gotta, make sure. I've heard stories of people like pulling, stuff, living things out, which is. My goodness.
But it's kind of awesome. Like just because I just love like science and stuff like that. And it's just like fascinating that these living
I know, right?
creatures are living inside of us and feeding. It's just insane. It's scary. I don't want that to be happening, but it's just mind blowing.
Yeah. I was like super grossed out about it until I thought about the analogy to or not really analogy, just kind of understanding that if you're eating meat, and dairy, like you have to have helpers to digest that stuff because we're not supposed to. So it's a good thing they're in there because they're helping.
Yeah, our little ecosystem.
I know it is too. It's the craziest. It's like you either got a swamp or like a streaming river.
I love that.
You
I'm
want
glad we're at the river stage.
I know.
No.
For real. Oh my goodness. So let's see. This is the last question of the interview. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
This has been so good.
I know. I like it.
Yeah. I wish we could do it live, but you know what? We go with the flow.
Next time. We'll do it. Yeah, next time.
Next time we get it figured out, for sure.
We could do like an update because I'm still having like some symptoms. Like,
oh yeah,
I'm still having acne breakouts and stuff like that. Like, it's way less than when I started, but like it'd be cool to have give an update of full healing, you know?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I would love that. Yeah. What's one tip you could give someone who is debating on starting detox or just beginning on their journey? What's the one tip that you'd give them?
Okay. So I would say that most importantly, as much as we want to detox and get all of this out of our bodies and feel better, I would say that it is so important to remember to be gentle on yourself. So I know for me, sometimes I should have been a little bit more gentle. I just get very strict with myself and competitive with myself, I think. And I don't think I go very easy on myself. And I think at some point I should have slowed my detox. Like, my depression got so severe during October, November. I think it would have been wise to just slow it down a little bit with some raw veggies or maybe even steamed veggies or something. But something when I first became fruitarian was I started off with this intention, being gentle with myself. And at every meal, I would tell myself, okay, I can choose to have a cooked meal if I want, or I can continue to keep working through detox and choose to eat an all fruit meal, and or raw veggies. I wasn't eating really any raw veggies at that time, but so I started off doing that really well at each meal, giving myself that option and being very gentle with myself. So I would say, but I kind of got too into it and kind of too obsessive a little bit during October, November. And once I finally did bring in more balance in January by incorporating some avocados, some celery, some carrots, it was just a much more pleasant experience. Sure, I did go through a lot of detox already, and that's why it was more pleasant. But honestly, we should try to be able to enjoy the journey a little bit, because sometimes if we're too all or nothing, it can completely turn us off to it. Yeah. And fortunately, I was able to push through and it didn't turn me off to it. But I think if I would have had a lot more going on in my life, like I said, I had a lot of solitude, so that I was at a very mellow point in my life otherwise. And so I was able to focus on this. But if I were to have had a lot going on, I probably maybe would have just quit this because it would have felt like too much. So just always be gentle with yourself. It's okay if detox takes a long time. If you're adding in raw veggies or cooked veggies to slow it down, as long as you're just enjoying the ride and knowing that you're doing your best every day, that's all that matters. So that's my tip.
I love it. It really is important. I really resonate with that because I was like, okay, I'm doing 100% fruit. I know I'm gonna, do this fruit thing. And at that point, I don't think I realized that you can moderate your healing with
same actually. I didn't realize that either.
Yeah. And I think it's important because to realize you can slow down detox with raw veggies It's easy to do that. Make a salad. I love like a veggie. What do they call it? A fruit veggie?
Yeah, veggie fruits.
Yeah, veggie fruit, like cucumber, tomato, avocado,
zucchini. Yeah.
I would make a spinach, arugula salad with all those veggies on top, and it was like very filling because I could eat a whole bunch of veggies. And then I realized, it's slowing the detox down a little bit because I would filter less. You can monitor how you're doing, but sometimes you just you need that balance emotionally. And sometimes physically, because sometimes you're going through these detox symptoms like you were going through with, the deep depression. And for someone who might not have, might not be lucky to have a little bit of downtime, it might be hard for them to go through that or any other healing crisis, because there's definitely a wide variety of healing crises that you can have. And definitely just know you can moderate it, go gentle with yourself. It's not a race. And being gentle is the key. I think that's a great tip for anyone that's beginning the journey or on it that doesn't know you can moderate it, because we were both there, right? So
yeah. And in case it was confusing in what I said, since I was mentioning how I was giving myself the option to eat cooked, that was mostly for cravings, because I didn't realize we can moderate. So I was thinking, oh, I can give myself the option to eat cooked because my cravings have been insane, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that knowing that we can moderate it is so empowering. And I didn't find that out until about January, but it's so empowering because it can help us to feel in control of these symptoms, because some of the time sometimes we can feel as though these physical symptoms or emotional symptoms are controlling us during detox. And so that gives us that power back, kind of, by thinking, okay, I can add in this raw veggie meal or this cooked veggie meal and just slow it down. I think it helps to know that we can control this a little bit.
Yeah,
sure, we might prolong the process, but at least we can control it.
Yeah. And it's creating it into a lifestyle instead of like some like
diet or something.
Yeah, exactly. Something that you're like have to stick to, and if you don't, then we give these limitations to ourselves. And it's kind of all about letting go of those limitations, but being good to your body and your emotional, physical, spiritual body at the same time. For sure.
Definitely.
I'm so excited. That was a great tip.
Thank you.
All right. So let's wrap it up, and let's, Kori, go ahead and let them know where they can see your awesome videos and the content that they'll find.
All right. You guys can find me. My YouTube channel name is called Kori Fruitarian, and I spell Kori with a K, Kori. And the content that is on it's mostly focused on lifestyle and wellness, how to incorporate fruits into your everyday life and how easy it is and simple it can be.
Perfect. I know. I love your videos too. Like I said,
thank you.
They always make me hungry. What was you had a smoothie, I think, the other night. What was it? Banana, have cherry in it?
I think cherry. Yeah. Was it the mango?
Yeah.
And the avocado?
Yeah. That looks good. I'm going to have to try an avocado in my smoothie.
Yeah. I was terrified to try avocado. I
love
terrified.
Your reaction.
But it was amazing. It is the texture. I'm a texture person, and I'm hungry now.
I know.
The texture, you guys have to try avocado in your fruit smoothies. So good.
Sounds good. Have you ever made chocolate pudding? That's one of my that's one of my treats that I do on occasion when I'm having a craving. I do avocado, dates, like soak the dates though.
Okay.
And cocoa or cacao powder.
Cacao. Okay.
And just mix it in the Ninja, and it's like the creamiest chocolate pudding. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
It's chocolate pudding, and it's
that
so
sounds
good for you.
amazing.
Yeah.
I could picture it being pudding-like because my smoothie ended up being pudding
Smooth,
texture
right?
from the avocado. Yeah, very smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like that?
Oh,
Try
that
that.
sounds good.
That, and I have
Sounds
like
so good.
chocolate cravings, so that's a good one to.
That's a really good one.
For sure. So let's see. I wrote down a note important for you guys, and then we'll wrap it up. So I wanted to end on this. To anyone watching this, you are the driver of your sacred vehicle. What goes in creates what your experience is. And you know, if you're suffering, you're creating that experience. But you know, you're also creating. You can be creating a vibrant, healthy life, and it's all about what you choose to put in. So only make the choice. If you look into this more, dive into the plentiful information that is available to you from Dr. Morse's free YouTube videos, the plethora. John Stearns has in-depth articles to get in touch, or get in touch with a detoxification specialist if you need a bit more guidance. Do you have anyone that you would add to this list? You're always talking about these beautiful people that you read books about.
Oh, I would add, I love Professor Ehret's book, The Mucusless Diet Healing System. And he talks about different things than Dr. Morse, but you can tell if they met. Professor Ehret he lived in 1800s. They would be on the exact same page. They just focus on different aspects. So you can, if you follow Dr. Morse, you can learn so much as well from Professor Arnold Ehret. And he focuses on a fruit-based diet, but the benefits of fasting. Yeah. And I've heard Dr. Morse mention this stuff too. So I know Dr. Morse is on the same page.
Yeah, I think he might, I could be mistaken, but I think he might mention him in the beginning of his Detox Miracle Source book.
Okay.
Yeah, he might mention that in the beginning.
I think he does. Yeah. So I would recommend Professor Ehret's book. And then I just started reading this book. It's called The Live Food Factor. So this author, she incorporates a lot of science into her book and a lot of case studies and a lot of practical tips. So I've just started it, but it seems like it's going to be really good.
Oh, that's good. That sounds good.
And then, of course, the Detox Miracle book. Yeah.
Yeah.
By Dr. Morse.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm so excited. Kori, thank you so much for joining me today and doing this interview. I think it's going to help so many people. I'm so grateful we did this. It didn't go as planned, but it's going to end up being beautiful. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Brooke, for having me. I'm so glad that I'm able to share my story and just hopefully inspire anyone I can. So that's the whole point of me coming to YouTube and all of this. I just want everyone to know we can feel so much better. There is a way, and eating as a fruitarian, the way we are meant to eat, is the way.
Yeah.
You can live your best, most amazing life, and it's just by switching to the way we're meant to eat, just by eating fruits. It's so simple.
It is. It's so simple. That's so beautiful. That's a perfect note to end off. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Kori. I'll end this now.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, your cat.
Should I take him out?
No, it's okay. I have my bunny right here who's going to be like hopping around. So.